Hi, Sarah here for UK Scrap Addicts creative team. This month we've been focusing on paint, so I am going to do a bit of watercolouring here. I've started off with some watercolour paper in 12 by 12 by Prima. It's available from Thompson's Crafts. Any products I use I will link below. I'm now using an embossing pen. It comes out pink and it's just so you can see where you're marking the page. And then you add embossing powder over the top, it sticks to it, you melt it, and you get a pretty shiny finish. And my embossing pen was from a Mind the Scrap mixed media kit. I believe it was this August kit, the mixed media one. I'm not sure if there's any available still. I will link the shop though in general if you want to go check them out. All shops I do buy from are in the UK. So as you can see here, all I've done is marked out the lines on a feather with this pen here. I did switch between a broad and narrow, or a brush and a narrow tip to the embossing pen. Now I'm just dumping a load of embossing powder on there. Mine's Wow embossing powder and it's gold glitter. I'm just moving it around. As you can see, I've already put a bit of paper down, not that it helps because I just get it everywhere anyway. And then I just tap it off and pour that back into the pot, which I don't make you watch. Now I'm coming back in here with a dry clean paintbrush just to nudge some of the embossing powder around where it's stuck where I don't want it, or if I find it a bit smudged I can just move it around a little bit. I'm not too bothered about it being really accurate, just not everywhere. So as you can see there, I did cut some of that out because it did take a while, but I've melted all that powder and now it's all glittery and gold and sealed onto the page. So I'm coming back in now with some watercolours. These are from Hobbycraft. I think they're only about £3 if you get them in the art sales that they do. And I'm starting off with red. I'm just going to make my way through the rainbow going up the page. As you can see, I do turn my page round so that I can get a nice flicked edge to my feather, which I find easier to do if I'm flicking away from myself, so that's why I'm rotating it round to get a nice edge to that feather there. For each colour I just rinse my brush in the pot next to me and just put the colour down, then blend backwards into the colour before it. And I have also sped this up to 5 times as fast because otherwise I would have been here all day showing you this bit, but I wanted to keep the whole process in even if it is quite fast, just so you can see how I do it. I'm not particularly worried about it being very accurate or anything like that. I am, after all, an amateur painter, so I'm pretty happy with the with how it turns out. It's the effect I was looking for, which is always good. And now I'm just going through some papers. These are all from the Mind the Scrap Do You Like It. I believe they do have some still left as of this voiceover. Whether they still do now, I'm not sure, but I will link it if it is still there. Trimming down my photo, and I was going to use the rainbow paper that you saw from the kit, which I'm bringing in there. Now I did want to use that blue and purple tissue, but I chickened out. I wish I hadn't, because now I see it on screen I think it would have looked really nice. Instead I've gone for my usual white, but I have got some gold flecks through my tissue paper. That's just to add some texture rather than just putting my pattern paper straight down behind my photo. I've chosen not to add a matte layer behind my photo this time because I wanted a bit more of a softer look. I didn't want any harsh edges, hence the tissue paper around the edge there. So I'm just layering up a few pieces there and just cutting it roughly with some big scissors. Now that's done, I'm just sticking those 2 layers together. Just going to add it on to my rainbow paper, which matches my rainbow feather. And I just tear the bottom edge there, again just to make it a bit softer. I then do also ruffle the edges of my paper as well. And I'm also going to add some fun foam, also from Hobbycraft, to the back of my photo because it's just way cheaper than putting down loads and loads of little expensive foam dots, because they take ages, and you can just, with this sort of thing, just stick some foam down. It works perfectly. just trimming off the branding strip now because I want to do a rough edge down the other side of my page. I flipped it over to the opposite side because that's the way around I want my tear. And as you can see now, I've got a fairly straight but ruffled piece now because I used my metal ruler. I'm just adding adhesive to the edge that will be stuck down to the edge of my watercolour paper, and the other edge is lifted slightly. I do lift it a little more afterwards. I'm grabbing some washi also from the Mind the Scrap Do You Like It, and I'm literally tearing a big long piece so that I can add an extra layer to the ruffled edge down here, and I'm just tucking it slightly behind that other paper layer. And then because I've got the other bit from that I've torn off to create the rough edge, I'm going to use that just to frame round my picture on those two sides that aren't covered by the feather. So there we go, I'm just ruffling up that edge there. And unfortunately I managed to cut out a couple of pieces there. All I did was add amazing heart and a little heart in the middle. That was also from some thickers that came in my kit. I'm adding my journaling up the side as well, and the date. And then finally I also add some extra gold splashes of colour. I use my Colour Shine, cover up my photo, or at least most of my photo. I don't mind a few splashes on the dark part of the photo. I think it looks quite nice. And then as well as that, another bit that I'm sorry about, but I do show you how it works. I use some liquid pearls, and that's how you apply them. And I just added them all the way up my feather, and I also added a few on my photo and also around my little quote that I have there at the bottom. So that is me done. Thanks for joining me today. I will leave links to all the products, and also please check out the other YouTubers for UK Scrap Addicts and the blog, and I'll also leave a link to my personal channel if you want to come over and check out all the other crafty things I do over there. Have a great day everyone. Bye.